Hello 12LS, how are you today? Today we are going to talk about neurotransmitters and neurologic disorders. Otto Lowy, an Austrian scientist, discovered the first neurotransmitter in 1921. He used two frog hearts. One of the hearts was still connected to the vagus nerve. Heart number one was placed in a chamber that was filled with saline. This chamber was connected to a second chamber that contained heart number two. Fluid from chamber number one was allowed to flow into chamber number two. Applying an electrical stimulation to the vagus nerve attached to heart number one caused heart number one to slow down. After a delay of time, heart number two also slowed down. Louis hypothesized that electrical stimulation of the vagus nerve released a chemical into the fluid of chamber number one that flowed into chamber number two. He called this chemical vagus. We now know this chemical as the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. So, what is a neurotransmitter? It is a substance that is released at a synapse by a neuron and that affects another cell, either a neuron or an effector organ, in a specialized manner. Neurotransmitter criteria. It is synthesized by a neuron. It is present in the presynaptic terminal and is released in amounts sufficient to exert a defined action on a postsynaptic neuron or effector organ, which could be a muscle or a gland. When given as a drug, it mimics the action of naturally occurring transmitter in the body exactly. A specific mechanism exists for removing it. So let's start with acetylcholine. It is synthesized from acetyl-CoA and choline. It is classified as both excitatory or inhibitory neurotransmitter. Acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter used by the motor neurons of the spinal cord. It is released at all vertebrate neuromuscular junctions and present in autonomic and parasympathetic neurons. It is used in many brain synapses and involved in thought, learning, memory, attention, and awakening. It activates muscle action in the body. Deficiency in acetylcholine leads to Alzheimer's disease. By comparing the two synapses, the healthy and the one affected by Alzheimer, we can notice that we have less mitochondria in the diseased one, which leads to the less amount of neurotransmitters to be released into the synaptic cleft. Adrenaline or epinephrine. Adrenal gland is the primary source. It is produced in stressful or exciting situations, increased heart rate and blood flow leading to a physical boost and heightened awareness. Deficiency in adrenaline can lead to anxiety, depression, changes in blood pressure, changes in heart rate, hypoglycemia, migraine headaches, and sleeping problems. However, excess of adrenaline production can lead to rapid heartbeat, high blood pressure, anxiety, weight loss, excessive sweating, and palpitations. Norepinephrine or noradrenaline. Primarily excitatory but could be inhibitory. Synthesized directly from dopamine or in four steps from tyrosine. Affects attention and responding actions in the brain. It is involved in modulation of fight or flight response, sleep, wakefulness, attention, and feeding behavior. It contracts blood vessels, increasing the blood flow. Excess of norepinephrine causes overarousal or and mania, while deficiency of norepinephrine causes underarousal and depression. Dopamine. It is synthesized in three steps from the amino acid tyrosine. It is classified as inhibitory neurotransmitter. It is involved in regulatory motor activity, feelings of pleasure, and also addiction, attention, and motivation. It is associated with reward mechanism in the brain. Loss of dopamine neurons leads to Parkinson's disease, while too much dopamine leads to schizophrenia. By comparing a normal synapse to that of an individual having Parkinson's disease, we can see less amount of dopamine in the synaptic vesicles and less dopamine released into the synaptic cleft. Serotonin, synthesized in two steps from the amino acid tryptophan, it is classified as inhibitory neurotransmitter. It contributes to well-being, happiness, helps sleep cycle, digestive system regulation, mood, appetite, and pain regulation. Affected by exercise and light exposure, deficiency in serotonin can lead to ADD, migraines, and depression, while excess amount of serotonin can lead to muscle rigidity, fever, and seizures. GABA is synthesized from glutamate. It is a major inhibitory neurotransmitter at many sites in the brain. It calms firing nerves in CNS by preventing the brain from being overexcited, contributes to motor control and vision. High levels improve focus, while low levels cause anxiety. If GABA is lacking in certain parts of the brain, epilepsy results. Enkephalin. They play a role in memory, learning, emotional behavior, and pain. Balanced enkephalin levels are needed to maintain normal brain function. Deficiency in enkephalin leads to IBD, Huntington chorea, and arthritis. However, too much enkephalin may lead to diabetes, psoriasis, and cancer immunosuppression. Glutamate. It is an amino acid. It is the most commonly found excitatory brain neurotransmitter. It is involved in learning, cognition, and memory. It regulates development and creation of nerve contacts. Low levels of glutamate can lead to fatigue, brain fog, and poor memory. However, high level of glutamate leads to migraine, multiple sclerosis, and stroke. Endorphin, released during exercise, excitement, and sex, producing well-being and euphoria and reducing pain. In addition to decreased feelings of pain, secretion of endorphins leads to feelings of euphoria, modulation of appetite, release of sex hormones, and enhancement of the immune response. Low levels of endorphins can lead to anxiety, moodiness, and depression. However, high level of endorphins can lead to ADHD, bipolarity, avoidance behavior. At the end of this session, hope you have a great day and thanks for your attention.